monster. We have the new 2026 Soldier Tank 2, and today we're gonna give you the whole rundown of the BBCOR bat, the U-Trip bat, and the USA bat. We'll have all you guys covered. We'll put timestamps down below so you can go directly to whatever association you rock with. And here's the new look. We still have that drippy paint look. I would assume it appeals to all the 12-year-olds out there, but here's the BBCOR and here's the U-Trip. This is apparently a gap wall, a double wall bat, very similar tech to the Easton Dub. So that would be very interesting. We'll get to this at the very end, but for starters, folks, we have the new BBCOR. It is apparently a little bit heavier. I think they're going more for like a combat or the goods one piece, a much bigger barrel than last year. But right off the bat, my biggest issue with the Soldier bats are our two Soldier BBCORs from last year. We broke both of them. It was a little too good to be true. Dang it, bro. So the first objective is that the bats perform well without breaking, and the second objective, we are cutting right to the chase, folks. We are gonna see if it can hang with the combat, the current golden standard for BBCOR bats. So first things first, Soldier Tank 2 BBCOR versus the combat BBCOR. USA is next, let's get it. I did just throw a complete game, 10 strikeouts, so if velos are down a tad, that is why, but let's get a bunt. God. There we go, better form. All right, it's gonna be loud. Dude, it's really light. That freaking whipped. I'll tell you what, the sound isn't very graceful. It is a very chaotic ping. That is 98, little off the hands there. Oh, that was hammered. That was freaking hammered. All right, that was a roof ball, 102, 426. This is one of those bats that your coach is gonna get mad at you about for hitting in the cages with. It does not suck though. Off the end, and the end cap held up. And we do still have that rounded, protruding composite end cap. This helps the bat swing nice and light. However, whenever I see a big fat end cap like that on the DeMarinis, on the Soldier bats, they are prone to breaking if you really catch one off the end. It's nice and warm today, so it might not happen, but not the most ideal design for durability. Maybe a little end, 100. It whips though, it's really light. That's another 100, just didn't square it up great. Dude, early on, 93, not a great sweet spot. Not a great sweet spot. It just feels like the barrel looks bigger. We'll throw in the barrel rings just to check. All right, the combat obviously has an absolute unit of a barrel. Let's see, it looks good. Yeah, they did a pretty good job. Considerably smaller than the combat, but definitely bigger than the last year's Soldier Tank. Honestly though, it feels very similar to last year's Soldier Tank. A really hot bat if you square it up, but it's kind of hard to square it up. Monster home run. Yeah, like, okay, that's pretty good. 104, 427. It's still early, I'm kind of hating. Bat bro sign, hooked it. Okay, that was freaking hammered. There we go. It's got a little juice. 107, 383. I don't feel like I got that perfect. 107's fine. All right, we're starting to find the barrel. 106. All right, let's go. Like that, that's a bomb. Dude, as much as I loathe the sound and even kind of the feel of the bat, it's not crappy. Like, it plays. 103, 432. I'm giving it the juice, man. This bat's gonna get my best. dang good right there. 107. God, just a little end. 99. It feels so good to swing. Like off a slower pitching, very Voodoo 1-esque. Off a slower pitching, I would love this, but off the deadly hack attack that's always hard to time up, like it's just a little hard to catch the barrel. Hands a little bit. All right, let's really frickin' get into one. 99.
Yeah!
Pretty good.
That was good.
105, that definitely picked it up on the bounce. 473. 105 at 22 degrees definitely wasn't 473 despite it saying that. It's just rare that I feel like I'm really catching the ball off the barrel. It almost feels like off the hands, the barrel kind of gives in a little bit, and off the end especially, the barrel kind of gives in a little bit. Let's get one more. That was not perfect. That was nice. 99, 430. Shout out elevation. There we go. There we go. That felt good. That was no feedback off the hands whatsoever. 106, 440 feet. So that's good. It is a very, very good BBCOR bat. It competes with most bats out there, but I'm not gonna recommend a bat to you that competes with most bats out there. I'm gonna recommend the bat to you that is better than everything else. So with that said, we are gonna try another paint job of the Combat. I hate all the different paint jobs, kind of eyewash, but at least they are releasing more bats. We have the new Combat Rodeo here. Oh geez, that was very end of the bat. That was the cat. That's so stupid. Oh gosh, it just swings so much differently.
Yeah.
That sound is so good. Gosh, that's beautiful. What? 106? That said 484? Dude, I don't know. That's crazy. All right, let's really open up. This catches the ball. 107. Good God. 106, 424. All right, PR. No way. That was hit hard.
Dude, that was far.
Ah, 106, 471. All right, let's get one more. Hammered, bro. 108. And what I really want to emphasize above top end exit velo, most BBCOR bats, if I really barrel it up, I'm flirting with 106, 107, 108, 109. But the difference maker is how frequently I catch that perfect zone. And this, the Select Power, like that, even kind of the Atlas and the Exile, but especially this bat and the Select Power, I catch that super spot much easier than a lot of other bats in the game. And the barrel just freaking eats the ball, man. Missed it. Get out! Come on. That's a little end. That sound is something else, bro. It's just everywhere on the barrel, bro. 106, 464. If I really catch one with the Soldier, like it can get that. It's just most swings I take on this, I'm missing here or I'm missing here. And just the range is not very forgiving. So last chance. It whips, it's super light. It's like, dude, it's almost exactly like the last Soldier tank. I'm a little thrown off how similar it is. I thought it was gonna be a lot beefier. Oh, that was pieced. 107. It can get there. It can get there. It's just a little harder to match it. Perfect freaking barrel. 106. pretty similar to what I said about the Exile. If you're like a 7th, 8th grade freshman, maybe even a sophomore, I think you could really thrive with this bat. But if you're a little more of an advanced BBCOR hitter facing, you know, 80s and higher for pitch velo, you're gonna want a bat that's gonna catch some barrels easier, even if that means a little more swing weight. Trust me, it is worth it. So today I'm going with the Combat. All right, so our next segment is gonna be the USA bats. This is probably the minority of our audience is swinging USA, so we'll keep this pretty short. But today we have the USA Soldier Tank versus the USA 2026 Rawlings Icon. This is the expensive bat that all the Little League World Series kids are getting for free, this and the Hype Fire, and this is kind of the hype train for USA bats. But I've always kind of been a big proponent that the alloy bats, but especially the 2-piece hybrid bats, are the move over these really expensive composites. Pretty similar situation to BBCOR. Composite just can't really do its thing in USA, but I'm willing to be proved wrong. So let's see how the Tank holds up against the Icon today. All right, let's start with the Tank. That feels a lot like the BBCOR. That was 100. Oh, that's right at those guys. Oh, that's right at those guys. Catch it! Dude, that feels good. That feels like a Voodoo 1 USA. That's 101, 438. $105 with the USA bat.
Is that the USA?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, this is nice, bro. Yeah, a bunch of hundos right there. All right, to the Rawlings Icon, this would be a miracle if we can hit 105. That was 100. The feedback in the hands is significant. Dude, it's crazy how much it rings you up. 102. They just don't really feel good when you barrel it. For how big the barrel looks, I'm just always a little disappointed. That was pretty good though. 104. At least this is way better than the Hype Fire. Tattooed. 102. So the performance is pretty similar. The swing weight is the same, but the barrel honestly feels better on the 1-piece alloy Soldier Tank. And just once again, for the price, this is a pretty good bat. It's just way too expensive. If you're playing Little League USA, get an alloy bat, and most preferably get a 2-piece hybrid. But that is very similar to the Voodoo 1. Love that for a Little League bat. That kind of bangs. All right, and now on to the U-Trip. We have to go inside for this, just for liability reasons, but we will give you one hack. I've never hit with this bat. The double wall U-Trip Soldier Tank. Let's see. All right, let's hear it out of the wrapper. Heads up, dude. Ooh, yes. Oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. 111, 491. Come on, one more. One more. We deserve one more. $113. All right, let's go inside. This thing is legit. All right, moving on to U-Trip. We have the Drop 5 Soldier Tank 2-piece composite double wall, allegedly, versus one of the better Drop 5s I have swung, the 2026 DeMarini Green Zen. And my first couple swings out there, it really did feel a lot like last year's. And last year's, I mean, we were banging with that bat. Oh my goodness. But looking at the reviews kind of later on in the year, a lot of people complained about durability. Bats were snapping in half, the end cap was coming off, the barrel was breaking. Apparently it was pretty suspect, so I do want to acknowledge that, and this did not feel much different than last year's on my first couple hacks. And in their pictures, they're advertising all this double wall technology. I did not see any photos showing the double wall technology, so I'm not like 100% certain that is really what's going on. This very well could be just a linear, regular composite barrel, like the Zen, like the Hype Fire, like the Icon. So let's see what we got. I did just off camera swing the Drop 10 just for a couple hacks. It was hot, bro. I hit a 107 with a drop 10, which is pretty insane, and it did not break. And I've even seen in other videos the drop 8 frickin' bangs. We also have that here as well. We'll give that a couple hacks later, but. All right, let's see one. God, that sounds amazing. It does not sound like a dub though. It sounds like last year's Soldier Tank. That's cooking. 113 flat. 107. It feels so much like last year's. I'm not so convinced that this is a lot different. 444. Oh my goodness! Okay, 114. Very good, not necessarily insane. Oh, the barrel's so big. That was the exact same velo. Wow. 113.7. That was a little jammed. Yeah, 105. 106, I am kind of weirded out how different the almost perfect and the perfect is. Like, I'm either at 106 or I'm at 114. 110. All right, and before we go to the Zen, I do want to swing the drop 8 because I have heard really good things about the drop 8. All right, let's hear one fresh out of the wrapper. Oh, interesting. 104. 105. That's really far. 108. 450.
That sounds like glasses.
That definitely broke it, right? I don't see a break, but that sounded like a break. Yeah, it's broken. Weird. It's not visible though. Well, that sucks. So anyways, we're gonna go on to the drop 5 Zen. 114 was our high, but a lot of those like sorta barrels were more like 107. Okay, let's connect this one here. Okay, that was a little bit hands and 111. That's more what we're looking for on the mishits. That's 112. That felt pretty good. 114. So about the same right there. However, the Zen's barrel was a lot more consistent, whereas the tank was super hot, but it was kind of all or nothing. So we're gonna get one more with each. 113. That was freaking hammered. All right, Zen. It feels like the Zen. And it feels like last year's tank. That's hammered too. Exact same. Shoot. Slight miss. 108. This isn't very different from last year, so I'm kind of a little bit concerned that the reviews, the somewhat negative reviews, are going to be very similar to last year's. Without those negative reviews, I probably would have had a lot higher rating at the end of the season with last year's Soldier Tank, but a lot of guys were just chirping it. It's hard to really get it. 107 again. Oh, that's freaking piece. 111, huh? And the durability, I mean, looks really good. But this is kind of one of the pretty rare situations for me where I'm gonna lightly accuse a company of saying that they have a new bat, and in my opinion, it feels like a repaint. Again, that's especially in the drop 5, that is not a bad thing. I swung the drop 10, it felt really good too, but for drop 10, like, a lot of kids aren't generating the bat speed to warrant a composite bat, a $400 composite bat. So in conclusion, the U-Trip is very, very good. It's just not really different from last year's, and I don't think it's Supra or Dub. The USA bat, I think, was probably the brightest point for all of these three. It was very good, but I would really point you guys towards a 2-piece hybrid for the most part, especially if you're in that drop 10 range. And then lastly, the BBCOR was pretty dang good, just not elite. And again, it felt a lot like last year's. And for the claims they're making about this being a completely new bat, I didn't really get that vibe. It was a very small tweak from last year's bat. So for BBCOR, I gotta go with the Combat. For USA, I gotta go with the 2-piece hybrids. For U-Trip, I gotta go with the Supra and the Dub. Nonetheless, very good, just not really much better or different from last year. So there you go.